So thank you all very much for coming. I'm very excited to see friends, partners, and digital assets enthusiasts to attend the first edition of Convergence, an event that reunites traditional financial and DeFi worlds, as one day they will converge. So yeah, I think we can give a round of applause for. So at Kiln, we believe that onchain is the new online, and that the financial infrastructure is being rebuilt on blockchains. And our mission is to democratize value creation on these blockchain, value creation created on these blockchains by building the leading on-chain yield platform. And there's clear sign that this financial revolution is already happening. Looking at stablecoin, there's already 220 billion stablecoins in circulation. They're starting to revolutionizing cross-border and consumer payments. And they will be the backbone of tomorrow's capital markets. In fact, they will change the way financial assets are being exchanged. Even if you look at real-world assets, already 20 billion of real-world assets are being tokenized, from private credits to corporate bonds to T-bills, though it's still a meager pie compared to the global financial ecosystem. If you take stablecoin, only 6% of them are bearing native interest and giving back this interest to a token holder. So anywhere assets are held, whatever the custody solution you use, non-custody or a custody provider that you trust, you should be able to earn yield on them. If it's staking rewards on native digital assets, SOL or ETH, for those who don't know, staking is the risk-free rate in crypto, where the yield source comes from the chain inflation and network fees. Or if it's stablecoin in DeFi, using borrowing, lending, liquidity providing, or real-world assets, so that you can start to earn yield on stablecoins. This is what we've been building and the problem we've been tackling at Kiln for the past 5 years. We started in 2020 by offering staking validators to exchanges and custodians so that they could offer staking rewards to their customers. And then we were the first platform to build a set of APIs on top so that they could automate the staking and then staking flow while offering an institutional grade reporting on 20 different chains. Then we realized that they needed a central point of monitoring all of their yield position from staking to DeFi. So we built a dashboard so that they could monitor that. I'll talk about it a little bit later in this presentation. In 2022, we extended our middle layer from APIs to smart contracts, so that if you are a wallet, if you're a custody solution, you could start to offer seamless ETH staking. And then we realized most of our customers had a lot of stablecoin in custody, and they wouldn't earn yield on them or wouldn't offer stablecoin yield to their customers. So we built Kiln DeFi a little bit less than a year ago, and Kiln widgets so that they could integrate an earn section on their front end in a couple of days. All of our products follows 3 core principles. First, security. We have 13 billion assets staked on the platform, and we have never been slashed or never had an hack or a security incident. And this being applied by our internal security team or our external security partners. Second is that all of our products are non-custodial, which differ very much from centralized lending we've seen in 2022 imploding. And you can verify these yield sources on chain. You don't have to trust Kiln. You just have to verify what's happening on chain. So over the years, we've become the leading staking platform with 13 billion assets staked. We're the largest independent Ethereum provider, and we're running validators on more than 50 different chains, so offering staking products and staking rewards on more than 50 different chains. We've been collaborating with regulators and association industry leaders, such as the Blockchain Association here in the US, or POSA. I don't know where's Alison here, that's going to moderate a panel later on regulation, so that we can explain what staking and DeFi is, the risk, the non-custodial aspect of it. And we've been also working with insurers so that they can cover the risks on our platform. The reason we've been taking a leading position is because we usually outperform, our validators usually outperform the network benchmark by 3 to 8% on large networks. So that's Ethereum, that's Solana. If you take an example on Ethereum, we've been outperforming the network by 3% last year. And this tends to increase as Spectra come, this EIP that will change a couple of parameters on the Ethereum network and will make our validators compounding compared to smaller validators. The other reason our customers like us is because we've been building this dashboard where all of our customers can bring their favorite custodian from Fireblocks, BitGo, Anchorage, DFNS, and they can stake on their favorite staking coin or even use DeFi, and then monitor that if they use our validators, monitor our performance, or the other validators that they use. But talking to all of our customers, there's another pain point we saw in DeFi is that there's too many yield sources. It's crazy. You have hundreds of different yield sources, from borrowing lending to liquidity providing to real-world assets that we mentioned earlier, to basis trade. And there's no easy way, an abstracted way, a compliant way with the right reporting for a fund or a platform to offer DeFi yields to their end users. So that's why a year ago, we've launched Kiln DeFi, as I mentioned. And Kiln DeFi is already the leading borrowing and lending aggregator that is being deployed and integrated by major non-custodial and custodial customers so that they could offer stablecoin yields in DeFi. But Kiln DeFi was only the first step of yield abstraction. So we've been working for months on a much more ambitious project. I'm actually quite proud to announce today. And this is the first yield abstraction standards, so that if you are a token issuer, you can come and bring your own tokenized assets. It's private credits, corporate bonds, T-bills. You can wrap it into DeFi in borrowing lending protocols or liquidity providing, or the real-world asset as a standalone product. On top, a fund, DeFi hedge funds, and asset managers will be able to manage this strategy on-chain and then distribute it through our distribution partners, the neobanks, the wallets, custodians, the banks. And then market makers will enable instant liquidity with a on-chain queue system that we bring, regardless of the underlying. If you have a synchronous flow in DeFi, or if you have an RWA that is by essence unliquid for a couple of days. Woo! I can see the excitement in the room, huh? And last announcement for today, as the US environment has changed these past months, we quite excited to announce that we will be lending in New York, investing much more in US in general, and we're glad to have Carlos Arena that is joining as head of the US, leading our operation in the country, and Carlos, coming from a traditional financial background, then having worked into fintech, having worked into digital assets startup. Yeah, could you say a few words?
Sure.
No pressure, no pressure.
No, first of all, thank you everyone for coming. I think why I'm so excited about joining Kiln is the institutional and or enterprise focus, the security that is a priority, and also that the technology and the infrastructure is maturing, is now good enough to integrate into backend systems of large financial institutions that forever and ever had doubted or questioned the ability of a third-party provider to actually provide the right skills and the right tools to provide net new products to their customers. So I'm very excited. I'm here. Welcome all, and thank you for coming.
Thanks, Carlos. Thanks for your trust. And just without further ado, the program for the afternoon will start with a panel on regulation. Then we have stablecoin experts with a panel. The first panel will be moderated by Alison on regulation. Please, Then Stuti will moderate a panel on stablecoin and the stablecoin adoption in general. And then we'll have ETF and asset manager providers talking about ETH ETF and will they be staked this year? That's the main question. I will moderate this panel, so I'm quite excited about that. And lastly, we'll have a fireside chat with Vivek from Etherealize, explaining how he's bringing Ethereum to institutions. And then we'll have a drink. So thank you again very much for coming. Very excited for today. And let's do it. Let's start.
Yeah. Can you just like